Howdy, I'm Ty Nguyen, stand-up comedian, rapper, / podcaster. Join me on my show, Wait, That Didn't Kill Me? Podcast, where I interview extremely creative people that took major risks to catapult them to where they are now, and we'll see where they're going. New episode every Wednesday, so tune in. Hey, welcome to the Wait, That Didn't Kill Me podcast, where we interview very talented, creative individuals about all the risks they took to make it further in their career. And I'm very excited to introduce our guest for today, Chinwe Okorie. She's a talented filmmaker. And in 2021, she got nominated by the Austin Chronicle for Best Filmmaker in Austin, Texas, alongside with Richard Linklater and Robert Rodriguez. So I'm very excited to have her here. Also, my co-host is here, CJ Robles. He'll be on the soundboard, making sure everything's correct. Let's get started. Hi, Chinwe. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very fantastic. Just a quick let the audience know about your career. So far, you make 4 short films, and you're working on your 5th one.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just want to ask you, how did you get started in filmmaking?
Okay, so the long story short is when I came to Austin 2013 is when I came here, and I went through Craigslist and was looking for basically any film opportunity, because I came to Austin specifically to immerse myself more in the film community, because I couldn't find that in Lubbock, where I was.
Lubbock?
I was in Lubbock.
Yeah.
And I also grew up in Plano, so I definitely didn't find that there. So when I came to Austin, I went through Craigslist to just see if there's a job opportunity, and there happened to be a post looking for a script supervisor, and they paid, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let me do it. But I didn't know what a script supervisor was, but I still, submitted myself. And then I learned what that entailed. And so that was my first experience being on a set in 2013 for a short film. And then being on that set, then I was able to meet with other filmmakers in Austin and nourish that those relationships. And then when I felt comfortable to direct my own film, that didn't come till around, I think 2015 is when I shot my first, I shot a music video. It was for a local rapper in Austin. And
what's his name?
His name was J-Jax. I don't know if he's still doing rap, but his J-Jax, The Menace. Okay. And I met him at Spider House. I don't know if that's still around. Spider House.
It's still around.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I think it was Tuesdays or Mondays. I can't remember, but it was Tuesdays was hip hop night. They definitely don't have that anymore, but it was Tuesdays on hip hop night, and I just showed up, and I got to know a lot of the artists there, and then J-Jax was, they had a song that I really liked, so I was like, hey, can I just shoot a video for it?
Oh, so you approached him. I
think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure I did, because I just needed to just do something. Okay, so creative.
That was a risk that you took. Yeah. Were you nervous asking him at all?
I don't know if I was nervous. I think we were young enough where the expectation was not too high. Oh, okay. And my expectation wasn't to make money off of it. And I'm sure he wasn't also thinking about I'm sure he was like, yeah, let me get a video for my music. Yeah. But actually it turned out really well to me, my first time director and to editing. I mean, it's still on my Vimeo account, so I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. You seem to took 3 risks so far, moving to Austin, submitting for a role as a script supervisor.
Yeah, actually.
Was that scary?
Yeah, thinking about it. So I mentioned that I came from Lubbock, and that was a 2 weeks notice. I was like, I'm moving to Austin. I just made that decision like one night.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, let me put my 2 weeks notice where I was working at Chipotle at that time because I was still in college. And then so I dropped out of college and then put on my 2 weeks notice.
Wow.
But then I went back to school later in Austin. I went to St. Edward's. But yeah, so I guess I have taken some risks. Like when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're still taking risks.
Yeah.
We just haven't got to that part yet. So when did you first thought that you'll be making film before you even moved to Austin? Like when did that idea first came to you?
Yeah. So when I am an immigrant, so I immigrated from Nigeria, and in 1997, it was January 1997, and Titanic was in theaters. And
in Nigeria?
No, in the U.S.
In U.S., okay.
Baltimore, Maryland, January 1997, I believe. My dad just took me to see Titanic, like, you know, American culture, immersive, and I was like, I'm in love. Like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I thought I wanted to be an actor because so I tried that. Yeah. And I you know, I did it until I was in college. I was like, I don't like the process of being an actor because you're waiting. And then also being a person of color or so being a Black person, there were just so much limitation where like directors can see you, put you in anything or could put you in anything. So I didn't like the lack of control. So my destiny was on somebody else's hand. So decided to pivot. I knew I still want to be in film. I just didn't know what it was. And I think directing came natural because whenever I think about story, it's visual. And writing, I had to like learn how to like write structurally into film. And editing came very natural because also it was just not. So basically those three roles, I was something that I gravitated to in the filmmaking process.
I see. It's crazy that Titanic was a film that inspired you. I mean,
it's crazy, right? Because none of my movie has nothing to like. There's no tie to Titanic. I mean,
it's crazy, but it kind of makes sense because if you're a kid and the first time watching Titanic in a movie theater, it's a whole experience,
right?
Yeah, Titanic is actually a good movie. It's just so good. Make fun of a lot because it's like the second highest grossing movie or something in the world, like period.
And the number one was his most recent movie, Avatar.
That guy got it all.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in Titanic, I think you could even retire and be happy, like the royalty, and then you could just like, oh, I was in a Titanic.
Yeah, that still gives you carte blanche nowadays.
Yeah.
I was in 7th grade when I went to watch that movie. And when I was in it, I remember my girlfriend was like, "We're gonna watch this movie," and I was like, "Do you not know it's made by James Cameron? Like, I'm gonna go watch that." I was like, "Wow!" Just like, oh my god! Yeah, but it was a great experience. You're right. I think just watching it and feeling it, being there and then seeing this, it's actually just a very simple story.
Yeah.
But everything the drama there really hypes it up. But just, you know, because even like the memes nowadays, when they make fun of, there's space for Jack on the.
Oh, right.
You know, so it's a great movie that you can make fun of it.
It's also about love. It's like true love that we never see it materialize. So after you watch it, you feel sad for a Rose. Like what could have been. Yeah. But what could have been is probably bad.
True.
Like if they're being realistic, you know, if they hook up afterward, they probably like the difference is too much, in my opinion. So you seem to have like, you know, like you stated, all the good traits for being a director. So when did you make your first short film?
My very first short film was called Nneka the Uber Driver. I can't remember. Was it 2015 or 20? No. It was sooner. So somewhere around 2014, 2015.
Okay.
When I made it. So I made my very first music video, right? And I think that was between 2013 and 2014. So between 2014 and 2015, and then I made my first short, and that was like no money. I had like $200, and I just gave it majority to the lead actor, and he was this child actor.
He just got it all.
Mostly because he was so good, and actually he's a working actor now. His name is Benjamin Wadsworth or something close to that. But he's I was watching a show on Hulu, and I was like, holy shit, that's a kid. He was like 14 years old in my short. Now he's like a grown adult.
That's amazing. He's on Hulu.
Yeah, he's on Hulu doing his thing.
So for that film, the budget was $200.
It was $200. Like, gave it to the lead actor, and then food. Like, that's it. And then I could also get away with that because we were still young.
Yeah.
Like, and $200 was a lot of money to me because I didn't have a job. I was still in college.
So do you have like a full production, like camera, sound, lighting, everything, or that's just like a very simple, basic shot?
It was, so Richard Okorie, I was able to rent like good equipment. I think also back then, like things were more affordable and accessible for someone who was in college. So I think I rented equipment, and they, I don't know if they still do this, but if you were to shoot during a weekend, there was like a one-time rate. Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, like that was, I took advantage of that all the time whenever I was shooting on the weekends, over the weekends. And so I think I had sound. I'm pretty sure I had sound because it was dialogue, but it was not dialogue heavy because that was intentional because I wanted to work my way up to like all the sensory. So Richard Okorie is based on a poem that I read when I was in middle school or high school. And it's about a wealthy man who, it's like somebody, like a third person perspective of a wealthy man who just seems to look like he has it all. But one night he goes home and then blow his brains out.
Wow.
And I remember that, like, I think I was in middle school and I read this poem and I was like, and I just like, oh, I like that. Because I was visualizing like what that looked like. And, you know, as my first short, I mean, I couldn't go all the way out because I didn't have all the money, but I knew an actor, and so I pulled him along with it, and said, "Hey, can you be my Richard Okorie?" And then we were able to like rent a car, like a nice car. I think that was for free, actually. Not rent a car, we were able to borrow it. So I think being young, you can get away with a lot more stuff because people are willing to just help you with no like strings attached.
I feel like you can still do that now.
You can do it, but I think when you're younger, people are just like, "Oh, okay, I'll support you."
I think the freshness, the green in the eyes, the naiveness, it goes maybe benefits you a little bit. But I honestly think as you're older, you kind of like, for especially filmmaking nowadays, it's like, okay, do I need this or do I not? But I'm more precise. I remember back then just being like, yeah, sure, maybe maybe, but I never really have that like, oh, we'll believe in you. Now that I'm 40, it's more like,
come on.
It's like, all right, dude, where's the gimmick? All right, where do I need to sign up? Like, you just gotta like and subscribe. Like, wait a minute. But it is. I mean, I do like the fact that nowadays video is it's up there. You can take filmmaking techniques and put it in the video. You could learn certain things, but filmmaking still, like I was saying before we got started, I think it's thriving. I thought it was going to go away. I thought TikTok was going to kill everything. I thought short form video, it's just like books. It's like somebody reads a short book and then they want to read a long novel. It's the same thing with movies. I'm like, watch a 3-hour, I do a podcast. We watch 2 movies. We saw Barbie and Oppenheimer. One movie's 90 minutes and the movie's 3 hours. And it's just like, well, they both were engaging. So it's like, okay, so we still do this. People still want to be in movies too. It's totally, ties open up my eyes a lot, even like watching different roles in different movies. So I think as you just progress in your films, it's just, I think it's, to me, it's like, just do it. I think it's available. I do have a question for later, but we'll keep going.
So this Richard Okorie film, how long is it?
It was so short. I think I aimed for like a minute and 30 seconds.
Okay.
It's pretty short.
And at the end, did they have somebody blow their brain out? No?
It's off screen.
Off screen? Okay. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on my Vimeo account.
Okay. Yeah. Richard Okorie.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that.
It's the second, so the first of the 2 suicide topic in my movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Like when you just said that, I was like, oh shit, I have a pattern.
I think your film based on 2 I've seen so far, No Bites and Elephant, it deal with kind of like repressed emotion or the inability to communicate those emotions.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's what I appreciate about your film. So when you said the Richard Corey,
oh my God, you just unlocked something because I'm currently working on another film.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. That have repressed emotion too. We'll get to that later.
Okay, now you found me out. Okay.
Yeah. He's starting to Dr. Phil in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, filmmaking, right? Like, you probably have to deal with stuff that doesn't go your way. Mm-hmm. A lot of that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How do you pivot? Is it easy for you to pivot?
Okay, so there's a lot. There's some different ways I can answer that. So things that doesn't go my way, I would say the experience with elephants.
Yeah.
I was so proud. I am so proud of the work.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Let me introduce the viewer to Elephant.
Okay.
It's a very fantastic film where I feel like the budget was very high and it's very well shot. And it deal with, were they in middle school or elementary?
Middle school.
Middle school kids. And I know I'm going to mess up just talking about it, but it deal with a girl who her classmate told her that she's going to kill herself, but in a kind of joking kind of way. But it definitely sent this girl into like is spiral a right word?
Yeah.
Spiral. But I think the girl that played that actress was in the film, Amara.
Mm-hmm.
Amara, she's so good in a way where even though she just stares straight, you can feel the emotions.
Yeah.
Like very strong emotions. So tell us more about Elephant.
Yeah, Elephant is based on a childhood event. So I took 1 or 2 aspects from that from my life and examined it through the discussion of mental health and suicidal ideation in kids that age. So what parts of it is based on my life is I had moved to a predominantly white school, coming from Baltimore to a school in Pennsylvania. And I befriended a girl who, she and I were friends. But one day she just callously or just casually said she wanted to kill herself or that she was having a bad day and she wanted to kill herself, But she said it as we were about to hop on a different buses. So it was just so casual. So I just kind of left me like, okay. And so the next day, like we were in homeroom. We had homeroom class together. First period. She wasn't there during roll call. Yeah. I just casually blurted out saying, she's not going to be here because she killed herself. And then that just kind of ballooned into more people getting involved, administration getting involved. And then she shows up later that day in school and clearly didn't kill herself.
Did she deny it?
Yeah, she denied it. And so that's where the story.
So this film is very on point. Like it's almost a biography.
It's almost. But I took some liberty by like making it a dark comedy and pivoting the story into more about how the thought of someone having suicide ideation or mentioning that they're going to kill themselves, how would you react? How would people respond if you benefit financially from that person? And so would you bring up the elephant in the room? It's like, hey, should we take care of this? Or should we like not take care of it because this person is more powerful than than the whole school and body? So that is where Elephant takes a detour. And so the question was, when I didn't get my way, Elephant it was a great process. There were definitely things about Elephant was a struggle. As you mentioned, the budget was higher. So this is bigger scale. I'm working at a school. I'm basically at a school, using a school, a real school. And, you know, maybe 2 weeks before we go to production, the school was about to take away our access because we need to pay them more. They didn't realize how much, like, you know, they like agreed to something. They're like, they thought it was just going to be like
an hour or two.
Yeah, or just like, we thought we were just shooting a YouTube video. I mean, like, not to talk down in it, but like, but there's different qualities than like making a film too. Like, if you're just gonna shoot
video.
Yeah. So, and they were still supportive, but they were just like, we need more money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't have the money. And then so that was something that was so frustrating, because then I have to like break my own piggy bank and just pay them whatever, just so they can like not shut us down.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the experience, the process was amazing. It was a great experience. I'm in the editing bay thinking like, wow, I just really crushed this. Like, this is going to be the movie that like finally gets me attention from like the industry. And then once I'm submitting to festivals, crickets. And I was getting nothing but rejection. The first rejection I got, when I was hoping that like was like, you know, get me like where I need to be was Sundance. And I got a personal rejection from them. It was like this like long letter saying like, we really thought long and hard about this.
Wow.
We just don't know where to place it. Like, but we really like it. Keep going. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, Sundance, like
that's a good letter, like a good letter rejection.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that was just good. That's good. So like, and the next one,
it's great making a film that they don't know where to place it, because it's kind of groundbreaking. Like, it's a new frontier.
I guess. Yeah, it is good. It's
after
good.
I watched it, I was like, oh, I never seen any film like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I was trying to say, like, what I didn't get where I wanted is it just didn't go. The movie just didn't go anywhere. And then finally, at the end of like the life cycle of the film to submit to festivals with shorts, you only have a year from the time that you officially finish it. You have a year to submit and try to get into festivals. So Austin Film Festival got us in, and so but that was like the end of the cycle. We were like, I was like I guess this film is just never gonna get a festival release.
So that film is 19 minutes, correct? And,
or 18. Yeah, 19 minutes.
Yeah, so we talked to Yona on the last podcast and another filmmaker for a short film I was in. And both of their film is around the same lane. And they told me that festival for shorts, even though they say up to this
45
amount
minutes,
of time.
live.
Yeah, it's a lie. They pick film like 12 minutes or even shorter. That's what both of them told me. Yep,
it's true, because Love Bites was 13 minutes and we still didn't get in on many festivals, but we had the pandemic to also fall as blame. We're like, oh, well, maybe we didn't get in because the competition was high, and also a lot of festivals are just closing, or not closing was the word. They just weren't having a festival that year anyway. So, Love Bites was my second or third short film. And that was 13. Third. Yeah, so there's a second short film that never got released. It's called Impressions.
Impressions?
Yeah, I never released that.
Why is that?
The movie was based on experience, how I felt uncomfortable in the art scene here, where I think people are very cliquey here. And so if you're an outsider, you just have a hard time making friends. And just, I think like, I also felt like when I walked into spaces, there's like a industry party, like people are just assessing you. So like, what value are you? How many followers do you have? Who do you know? And so I wrote a short film based on if you were at a party, it's basically, can people like scan you really quickly to find your profile? Like, so basically it's sci-fi, like they like through their eyes, you get all the details, and then they either like you have enough followers, or if you have enough like clout, they'll talk to you. If you don't, they just move on to the next. So that was my short for Impressions, but I learned a lot from that experience. It was the first time I was trying to hire a DP, but I just assumed that anybody can just do it. Yeah. I didn't really put thought into who should be the right person to capture my ideas like that. The performances were great. It didn't look like how I wanted to, and I just felt like I can walk away from this.
Yeah.
I still have the script, I believe, so it can be remade if I really want to. But I think I want to just move on.
So how far did you get into making that film?
It got shot. It just got to the editing. No, like it looks good. It just I think also just. The cost of just getting all the sci-fi elements into it just felt too much, where it just didn't live up to my personal expectation what it should look like. But I think it's still a good film. Someone can see and they're like, yeah, you should have released this. I'm like, I should, but I also wanted to move on to the next thing, which was Love Bites.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot where we originally was talking.
It's all good. I would just go ahead.
I was saying you were just talking about the like clicks and the art scene here.
Yeah.
How like you're trying to like kind of figure out that we got the sci-fi conversation about movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is like that nowadays too. Mm-hmm. They're like, who are you? They look at your IG real quick, your Instagram, and they're this person, or 30,000. Wow, 40 million people. It's like. I don't know. We're living in futuristic times, I would say. Yeah. And it's
nothing's changed since.
It's like our resume, like our Instagram. It's our resume, so we have to have good photos. Stuff like that.
Also, too, just the cloud. The things about cloud. It's like so many people also that like, I personally know so and so. So this works, and I'm like, it doesn't matter to me, but I get it. I feel like it's a game we're all playing. We're forced to play nowadays. Oh yeah. So, but I think there's the cream does rise to the top in different levels. Yeah. So if they make us do it anyways, like you cap you, I feel like the other clips will just balance out and then go down, and you just keep going up. Yeah. So it's harder, but I think at the same time, it shows if you stick out.
Yeah. Oh, so one thing. So you're talking about how Yola had a long short film. So with Love Bites was 13 minutes and still didn't get into any festival. And I think with the pandemic, it probably was didn't help. But it did. But it got to Issa Rae's attention. Issa Rae's an actress, producer, Insecure, all that stuff. So it got to her YouTube, her distribution company, and they put it on YouTube. So at the end of that, like tour lifespan of the festival season, I was like, okay, finally, I got attention, recognition. It didn't. Okay, so yes, and then my next project, which was Elephant, you would think I would learn my lesson to make it shorter, but no, I didn't. I went longer, thinking, the quality is gonna bypass that. Yeah. So yes, the length doesn't matter, and so now I'm making a short film, and the lesson from that was make it as short as possible. Sure. So I am aiming for like a 7 to 8 minute long short, and that's it, and see how that works for me in festival programming.
And this next one is called Cycle. Yeah, correct?
Cycle.
And kind of funny, it's called Cycle, and you're going through the cycle of filmmaking to like get to this one, and it's called Cycle, which also deal with repressed emotion, and just reading the description, they deal with grief. Yeah. And when this lady, she touched a sheet, a fitting sheet, while she doing laundry. Yeah. I guess memory rushed back. So is that based on your experience too? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So Cycles the story of Cycles started with me at a laundromat during lockdown. It was like the early weeks of lockdown, and I went to a laundromat to just do my laundry, and this really nice owner saw that I was really frustrated with trying to fold a fitted sheet, which is hard. I don't know why I was trying to attempt it. Normally I just like crumple it and just put it away, but I just had time to kill, because remember like the days of being locked in, you have nothing to do. So I'm trying to like fold this fitted sheet. I was so frustrated, and he just like gently just grabs it from me and just starts folding for me. And the emotion I had from it made me want to like just bawl, turn into puddles and just cry, because it was so sweet. Yeah. And he didn't have to do it for me, but he just did it, and he didn't say any word. He just folded for me. And so and that was 4 years ago, and I kept that memory with me. And then 2 years ago, I was having I was processing my own grief. My father passed away from ALS, or the Lou Gehrig disease, in 2008. And I don't know what I was watching. I was watching The Bear for some reason. Well, I know why. It was good. The Bear just came out. First season came out, and I don't know what was happening in that show, but I was so easily like emotional, and I was thinking about my father too. And then there's one of the actresses. Her name's Ayo. Her cadence reminded me of me. So then I was just, there was a lot happening. So I told a friend, it's like, hey, I'm trying to write this story, but I keep crying, so I need help. Can you come with me? Can you work through this work the script story with me? And so Alex Chu became my co-writer on Cycles, and we made it very, like, we made this. We wrote it 2 years ago, and now I finally made it last month, April 2024.
So how do you decide when a script is done?
I don't know. I guess when you map out the story, and especially the story, you need to know like how do you end it. And in Cycles, I didn't know how I ended it, but I always knew how I wanted to open it. Yeah. And I'm pretty good at like those one or the two. It's always the middle part, where it's like, where is the story going? In Elephants. And Love Bites, I had a pretty good idea what the story how the story would end or how the story would begin. But yeah.
One of the most difficult thing about filmmaking is raising money for the film. So Yona told me on her short film Passy, which is 19 or 20 minutes. She raised 20 grand of a GoFundMe, and she took out 20 grand of her own, and she raised an additional 15 grand for festivals.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and she's actually in debt right now, credit card debt. For it. So I admire people that take that much risk. And looking back, Love Bite, your third film, I actually donated to your campaign.
You did.
And I remember I went to a screening, and I knew some of the people that went to the screening. Some of them were artists, actors, actress in the scene too. So could you tell us more about the money raising process for Love Bites?
Yeah. You actually donated to Elephants.
Yeah.
And
I remember
and Love Bites. But I feel like it was Elephant more. But the fundraising process is, to me, the hardest part. Yeah. Because it's so, you're vulnerable to just...
It's hard to do. It's hard to ask money for your creative project.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to ask. It's really hard for me to ask for help in that way. Like I can ask but financially I can't. I have a hard time asking. Why do you think that is? I don't know. And I also feel a punch in my gut when I feel like people are ignoring me from asking for help like that. Yeah. And that's what it feels like with crowdfunding. Like, hey, put it out there. It's like, hey, I need to raise this money at like within this time period. Please help me. Yeah. And then you look at the how it's tracking, and it's like, you only got $5. Oh. Yeah. No one cares. And so that's kind of that's just like a childhood wound right there. But I feel like that's your next film right there. A filmmaker asking money for a film. No, too close to home. Too close to home. No, it's so hard. It's hard for me to ask for help, and I try to figure out how to do it myself because. I don't know. I actually need to do a crowdfund one more time. Yeah. Because I did the grant route. And
from the city?
Yeah, I got city grants and I got some other grants.
For Love Bites, right?
No, for my current film.
Okay, that's nice.
So I was able to get it to production, but while we were in production, there was some money that I had to take out pay personally invest.
Yeah.
And so that completely dried up my savings, and I need to do crowdfunding to even complete the post-production side. So so it's basically opening up new wounds of like asking for help. Please help me. Like I'm a serious filmmaker. I'm not gonna not gonna waste your money. I hope you can help me.
You're not wasting people money.
I know, but it feels like people think like, okay, why should I help you? And I'm like, because you'll get a good movie out of it.
Well, it's obviously it's an investment as well.
Yeah,
so
invest in my future.
I think a lot of people aspire to do what you do, filmmaking, and they at a certain point, they're like, I can still do it, and then they realize, oh, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. So that's when the support comes back, because it looks good. Like I've been doing this since I was a kid. And then people were more like, where's your feature at? I was like, well, I was working on myself, working on things, but now I'm ready for that. Yeah. So when I do put the thing out there and they say, they're like, well, I'm like, where's your part? And they're like, well, I'll get you the next one. I'm like, all right, I just know I got to keep going, because it does, I don't like that. I'm going to help you, and they don't come through. Yeah. So that's another thing. But it happens. I think you're right. Just throwing it out there is hard enough. I think people don't really realize that. It's like, but I do like the support when people are like, hey, I sent you some money.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because something I also need to work on is stop focusing on the people who don't support you and focus on the people who do. And again, I remember that you helped me twice in my project, and I need to remember that there's people who are watching you and want to keep you, want to see you succeed. And thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I like how you said it opened up old wounds.
Yeah.
So to me, right, what I learned from being an artist, the deeper you want to go into your art, the more of that wound is opening up, kind of. So it's kind of weird, is success tied to opening up your old wound and processing it? Would that help you make your greatest piece of art? It seemed to be a pattern. Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Because you see people the best work of art, it based on something that irked them a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm not there yet. I haven't made that art that's open up, show myself very vulnerable. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not there yet, but it's just seemed like something I've seen in a lot of different art. Yeah. I think Kendrick Lamar is great at opening up his wound. Yeah. I couldn't even listen to his latest album without crying. Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper.
Yeah, you cried?
Yeah.
Yeah, which song?
The Auntie song. Oh yeah. Or the Mama song, Mother Eye. It's so heavy for me that I only listened to it twice, and then I just took the banger from that album and listened to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's but the thing is, for a lot of people, it's hard to listen to, but to a small section of people, they really appreciate it because they say it helped heal their drama, generational drama. And it seemed it makes sense. That's why he made it. He's going through the healing process himself, and he put it into the song. So other people that afflicted with the same drama, they heal through listening to that. Yeah. So I feel with that album, To Pimp a Butterfly, and the Jay-Z album 444, when he talked about his mom. Yeah, I cried during that Jay-Z album a lot. Yeah, because I think even though we're from different backgrounds, people could have the same wound. And it takes another level of vulnerability to put stuff like that out. Yeah. So I appreciate artists that do that. Yeah.
I also appreciate artists who they tell their story, but they don't come out the hero as from their point of view. There's a show called Baby Reindeer, and the creator of that. So you know what Baby Reindeer is about?
It's all the rave right now, but I haven't checked it out yet. It's one of those things that
it's a big show on Netflix. Yeah. And full circle, actually, the producer of Love Bites is now an actress, and she's in Baby Reindeer. Her name is Mal. So I'm really proud of her. But Richard Gadd, I think that's his name. He's a comedian from Scotland or something like that, and he went through a stand-up routine about his stalker. And then it turned into a TV show called Baby Reindeer. And in the show, you know, he tells a story about the stalker, but the stalker, he also puts himself into blame, like not a victim blame. He also explains why he kept kept prolonging the stalking. And then you learn other things he does. And I thought that was so brave that he's telling his wound, but he's also showing that how he also hurt other people through having trauma. And I was just like, and I thought about that. I was like, I don't know if I tell a story about how, you know, I've been hurt, I don't know if I'm there yet to also expose myself. Yeah. And I thought that's so brave of someone could do.
That's so crazy to bring that up. I'm actually, I do open mics now.
Yeah.
And one of my jokes I just started working on was having a stalker. Like, I had like a gay stalker. And writing about it really made me feel comfortable because I was researching about it. And I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of doing the things I was supposed to do without knowing. But now I'm like, this kind of feels weird, you know? Like, even after hey, I'm not, it's chill. Hey, so you're still coming at me. I'm like, whoa. But even like, I was writing a joke about it. And I was like, it's like, this is also the joke, but it's still in its infant stage. But I was like, it's like having a vampire that you invited to your house 20 years ago and they never left. They're like, hey, you invited me here. So I was like, how do we get out of here? And I realized, well, mirrors, you can use a mirror.
You have something there for sure.
Yeah, but even like writing it, because I years ago, during the pandemic, I started having a lot of like ideas, and I had a story of a gay vampire stalking a straight guy, and just all the things they go for the obsession and everything. And I just kind of was writing this thing, and now I was just writing a story. But now I actually have things to tie into where I'm like, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling like that. And it's just random that you bring that show up that I know, I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about it.
What is it about? Yeah.
And I have Netflix, so I'm going to go watch that now. Yeah. Because like even like You.
Yeah.
Like the show on Netflix. I remember like an ex-girlfriend would message me. She's like, "You're so close to me, Joe." And I was like, "But you're so nice." And I was like, "Okay." And then I started watching it and I was like, "Oh crap, I can see this psychopath. Good looking and nice psychopath. Oh, I get it. Oh. So, but it was like she took
what a compliment.
she took that. You're so close you could be that guy, but you went the opposite way. And I was like, "Well, you treated me like shit. What do you want me to do?" But in the movies, you find, I mean, everything. I love everything about movies and just stories in general. So even just, I'll say this with like same thing I told Yola and about your movies. They might not be ready now, but you still got to throw them out there because you never know when
who's gonna find it.
Find it because I feel like they're kind of timestamps as well. And maybe somebody's happened before, no one said anything, or maybe they didn't acknowledge it, and now it's like, oh, you've been talking about it for years.
Oh yeah. There's backlog of all the things to talk. Yeah.
Have any actors or actresses in your film told you that role changed them?
Wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, this project, Cycles, it was also a great experience. It was like the first time I feel like I curated the perfect space for me to create, got the best actors. I barely had to I directed, but it's easier to direct when they're so good. Yeah. And there was 2 first-time film actors on my set. One is first-time actor in period, but like the other one was she's a child actor who just never acted on camera. And she sent an email. It's like, thank you so much for creating the best experience, my first time experience. Yeah. And I was just so taken aback because I thought she was experienced because she just came was a pro. She was so gifted. Yeah. And I felt like her email almost brought me to tears because I'm glad I left that imprint that this is what it's supposed to feel like when you're creating. You're supposed to have fun, but not only have fun, but have a lot of you put everything on the table, but you walk away thinking that was the best I've ever done. And so I don't know. I hope this movie does well because I want these actors to succeed because I saw amazing things on set from them.
So this film Cycle is shot and everything?
Yeah, it's shot. I was actually editing almost the last scene. It is the last scene. I was editing the last scene before I came over here.
Wow,
so by
that's
tonight
crazy.
I should be done and sending it to my producers to review and then using those clips to try to raise money for the post.
Producers, do you have somebody above you for the direction or or just for finances?
Oh man, more so I mean, in film, it's all about collaboration, so you can pull all the people you know. And so no one on the project right now is, I was going to say, no one's really financing it, but we did have a really generous executive producer who didn't, who financed it through like providing their credit card. And so we use that fund to cover food. But I have producers. Ashley Robinson is a producer, and Jane Jane Schwartz, and she was actually an actress in Elephant, my previous short. And these two women were the bedrock of my set. Like, they were so instrumental in making sure that everything I needed was there, and just made everything so welcoming, but also just organized. I love entrusting people who are it's more organized than I am. And so just when I was the relief of just not having to worry about things, because I have good producers on set.
Yeah, so they'll look through the film to catch anything that you didn't catch, like
So they weren't those type of producers. So for instance, Jane was helping with the first time actor. His name was Masood, and Masood, one of his big moments in the movie is folding a fitted sheet. He's the owner who's folding the fitted sheet for our protagonist, and so she created training videos for him, and she also made him feel very calm on set, just make sure he's not overwhelmed, because there's a lot of things that happen on set, and if you've never experienced before, you could lose focus. So that was her, like, not just her job, but she took that on organically to make sure that he was prepared. Whereas Ashley Robinson was very hands-on logistically, like and making sure communication between all departments were solid and setting up meetings. So creatively, I think they left me to handle that, and where I communicate that with my DP, my camera operator named Andrew Baird. Sorry.
Is it hard finding the actresses for your film, since you get a lot of submissions?
We actually got a lot of submissions this time around, but I was nervous because we didn't get submissions for Masood's character. So we were looking for Middle Eastern Arab actor, and there's
it's kind of tougher.
It's tough here.
Like, that's not like
So we were nervous. So I leaned onto a friend, a filmmaking friend. I knew his dad because I visited one time in Houston a couple of years ago. And I was like, I feel like your dad would be perfect. I feel like he's a star. And he's like, would he do it? And he was like, and the dad was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, obviously you want that kind of enthusiasm. So we had him audition just to make sure he like could do it. Because you can say you can act, but can you actually like do it? And he was just real. And I forgot to also mention, I did have other producers who were very instrumental on this project. Brody and Travis and Movement House Production. They support the film through equipment and giving us production insurance, and that saved us a lot of money. And then Travis helped on set by just being our on-set photographer. So back to finding actors, we had a lot of submissions for basically a lot of submissions for the the white characters, whatever.
That makes perfect sense.
But it's really hard to find black actors and brown actors. I don't know if it's hard or it's like we're not where they are. Like we're not submitting to the place where would they normally find it. So the more I keep being people know that I'm a director, I think they follow me, and then I guess they get their way down.
When you first started, you said that it was like as trying to do acting, it was hard because you were like, I'm not gonna get cast anything. So now you're casting. How was your, because I had the same issue. Like I'm like, I keep getting second place. This is not what's going on. And then I see the guy you casted. So I used to always let that slide. Now I'm older. I'm like, wait, why is this repeating to people younger than me? And why is this still people my age? And then like, what's going on? Honestly, I always play the minority card. Like, I'm a minority. I don't care. But I'll say, I was like, you have to give people a chance to get accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like a lot of us don't really get set experience.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you don't get audition for the role, so that's it. It's like, well, I can do other things. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I started off from the front and then I went to the back, and I'm working my way back to the front.
Yeah.
So I feel like I took on too much, but at the same time, I want to know from you, like, now when you cast, what are you looking for? What helps you for your character that you wrote?
Yeah.
And then now for your casting, what's your process like?
Okay, when we did the auditions, we were really impressed by like those we invited for callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
There was one actor who I ended up casting. She wasn't who I had in mind and when I wrote it, but she brought something to the table where it was just vulnerability, and I felt like she had to have that experience. You don't have to have had that experience. But
how do you see that in her when you
choices that sound like so the voice, like it's also tone and the voice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think sometimes some actors play things very flat and then change the range of how they deliver. And so that was the first thing I picked up on. Like her delivery had different meaning each time.
I see. Yeah.
Like her hellos can sound sad. Her hellos can be happy, but it just had like within the whole like audition, there was different emotional roller coaster, and I needed to see that from an actor. Whereas
I never knew that. Like, that detail.
Please, like if you want to audition, do that, because that's something like it was really hard to find that replicated. Once I saw her do it, I was like, okay, she has a part, because also the scenes that they're auditioning is like a vulnerable phone call you're having about grief. And so when you're having these conversations, sometimes you don't want to be vulnerable. Sometimes you are vulnerable. Like sometimes I just need to see that different range.
Yeah.
And she got the part immediately based on just changing her tone. Another thing especially for film, what I look for is eyes. Sometimes if you just have not captivating eyes, but just eyes that just seems like... I know
exactly what you're talking about. Eyes that kind of linger after like they deliver a line.
Yeah.
I feel like in that Nana, the series, that one actor have it. He's big now. He's a kind of skinny guy.
Oh, Keith.
Keith. Yeah. In that Nana, all I noticed are his eyes. And I saw him in other film too. And he have like strong lingering moments that is just like his eyes. Even in Uncut Gem, where he played like a wash guy, like a shady wash guy, even though he didn't have a big role, his eyes just linger up and down. And they just like freeze on it, and that's kind of crazy. Yeah. How I don't know, in Hollywood they know him as the eyes actor or whatever, but it's in a lot of his film.
Well, you just unlock something. Like I think a smart director always casts for those things, because what you want the most to happen is someone can emote with their face or eyes without the dialogue. Sometimes we can, if we were, especially as an editor, there's times I just want to just cut that dialogue and see can it still play without the dialogue. And if we have a strong actor who can just communicate that wordlessly, we're right in the pocket.
Wow, that's a big tip there.
I like you said that the thing that sticks out. So Ed O'Neill from Married with Children, Modern Family, he got the Ed O'Neill got the Al Bundy character because he did one thing different than everybody else. And that one thing was everybody was just like coming to the door, like, hey, do the Al Bundy. They just come to the door, like, hey, open the door. He did his where he said he got to the door and he just remembered his uncle, that his uncle was like miserable. He didn't always like his family, so he would always think about it before he would walk in the door, like contemplate. And all he would do is put his hand on the door and go, open the door and walk in. Yeah. That settledness, because if you keep seeing people doing the same thing and you just see something different, it's enough to be like, oh, I want
stands
more.
Out. Yeah.
I want more. And like you said, eyes. Yeah. Your eyes do that. Especially
lingering eyes.
When I'm putting a camera in and I'm seeing or I'm doing it and directing, and it's like sometimes you're panning and all of a sudden you're like, why did I just oh wait, ooh, you're actually catching me. Oh, okay, I might have to put you somewhere. You know what? You're gonna go in the front. Actually, it's something about it. It tells a story. It can tell a story without you using words. It's a feeling like a script. Like you see the script, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, they can do it. So she just knew like that's the one. And then did you rate the makeup of the character for the individual, or did you just give them a role?
Oh, the character, the
one that came in that you were like, oh, she needs.
Oh yeah, so she actually informed how the movie would be. She auditioned for a mom character because she is older, but you would not know, and it's and I needed her paired with a father, and so we had the actor kind of locked who that would be, and I was like, okay, like. She is older. He's already old. I think they're 2 years apart in the real world. But character, they're supposed to be father and daughter. But so she informed what that scene should look like based on me casting her. And I was like, okay, well, it's not played grounded. It's a memory. Mm-hmm. Like he must have passed away. At that age, and now she's aging. She has lived long enough to remember. Yeah, caught up. Yeah, she had caught up with him. So just like I was like, okay, well, that's how the movie is gonna be now because we like her so much, and we're just reworking how that scene was gonna play.
Yeah, that's a good. I like hearing that. Yeah, it means me because I was at first. I've been on so many sets. I was like. There's some actors that are just here for attention. They're so crazy. I can't work with them. Yeah. And then I started working with people. I was like, you can do this. I know I wrote this part for you. And then it's like, you're not bringing me anything. and then you get the crazy person back on. And I was just like, all right, I need you for the scene. You do it perfect. So you're this character, you do it. Whatever you do outside, I'm not going to bat eye to you. But you do because they know it, they get it, they already understand it. Yeah. Even if you just tell them and they, like she said, they give feedback, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's like, that really helps a director be like, all right, I can trust you can trust me. Yeah. It's like, it's good.
You take advantage of awkward silences in your film, and to me that's the most realistic thing
I love your analysis because like so you're picking up like patterns of like, oh, okay, I do like that.
Yeah, so how do you know how to consciously put that into your films?
Ooh. Whenever I direct, I actually tell actors, please space it out, please. And I think initially,
what do you mean by space out?
Like, I think sometimes in a scene, actors want to like just talk faster, but I'm like, please slow down, space it out, draw out the tension, make yourself think, really process what that feeling is before reacting. And it feels awkward, but it could be better in edit. So I'm thinking more of the edit as an editor and when I'm making those suggestions. But when I go on editing side, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm glad I asked for more time because I can let that breathe a little longer. Because I hate fast cuts too. Well, unless it's like something like uncut gem, like when it's supposed to be you keep moving. But I don't like when there's just like fast cuts. And the awkward pause too is something that I think I'm well aware that people do anyway. Awkward, anything that's supposed to be awkward or uncomfortable to talk about. So I think the movies that I've created so far have been people feel uncomfortable to talk about it. So they wait a little longer to say something unless their personality is to be a very abrasive and just get it out there. But most people, they think a little longer before they say.
Yeah, especially with your film dealing with repressed emotions. So
and it also takes like your actor. Sometimes the first take is just like blah blah blah, or sometimes it's the best take. But you're right, spacing, like delivery. So you might have 2 lines and you need to deliver them, and 2 lines can take you 2 seconds, right? But if you find a way to draw it out, and you can do like a good 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you can bring it in. Yeah. There's something there to play with. But if you're just like, to the line, go for it. It's like, well, let's use the scene. You want to be in the moment. And it's hard to direct that in the spot.
I think I like Quentin Tarantino because he does awkward silence a lot. Like he he's not the type to rush through a scene, so he let like the character talk and then have like awkward conversation, and then he just let it linger.
Yeah, Inglourious Basterds. So what first thing I'm thinking about, because I think that opening sequence was so intense for me because I didn't know what was gonna happen.
You're Pulp Fiction already.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. Even Reservoir Dog, they just have like weird dialogue. Like even like the beginning scene where they talk about should we tip the waitress, and they have a conversation, and they just have a part where they just pause and I'm like, okay, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The John Travolta character scene where he sees Bruce Willis and John Travolta and then just have an awkward stare down before he shoots it down. That's a weird stare down.
I think it adds more human to the character because human, we have a lot of awkward moment.
Yeah.
And then the Vin Rames, he gets hit by the car by Bruce Willis and he's waiting there and they just have that awkward, man, their movie's very awkward. It's all running through my head. It's like, even the part where it's all Bruce Willis' scene basically, where he kills the guy at the game for the sport. It's this build up. It's intense.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow, that's like, you're right. Wow, it's not really like super awkward to me, but it is there. It's right in my face. You're right. He paces it like that.
Yeah. I think good director, they know how to build tension. Very subtle tension.
Yeah. I'm all about subtlety. Subtlety.
Yeah, subtlety, right? Yeah. So beside the Titanic, what other movie inspired you?
Okay, so another pivot is The Godfather.
The Godfather. I would have not guessed that.
I know. None of the things that I'm saying actually correlate to the kind of movies I'm making.
Yeah.
But The Godfather is something I really like because it's just this operatic movie about family, but also an individual within the family making a choice. Mm-hmm. And I thought, thinking about like long lingering shots, you know, the choice of, the scene where Michael is at the diner and he has to make the choice if he's going to kill this guy or not. Mm-hmm. And like, I see it right now in my head. I'm like, this is perfect. And just imagine being like I was probably in middle school when I watched it. And I just love the pacing. I love that it was so long, but I didn't feel it. But I was so immersed. So I think those two movies, they're super long, but it's the immersive part of it. The feeling about it is like I want to be in that world.
How old were you when you saw The Godfather?
I'm pretty sure it was in middle school.
Middle school?
So between 11 and 13.
What about Titanic?
1997, so I would have been 6.
6? Wow, that's
insane.
a big jump. Wow. That's a big jump.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
So after you saw Godfather, were you like stunned? What's the emotion after watching that?
I think
in middle school. I didn't see it till I was like out of high school.
I know. I'm thinking about all like I did age up a lot faster thinking about the movie.
I wouldn't get it like if I saw it in middle school.
Oh man!
I sound so young that when the guy gets the shot in the face, with the glasses, I was like, the glasses didn't protect it. That's why I was like, that don't work. Like I'm so never watching it.
You know, maybe. I do think I was too young to watch The Godfather to understand like the themes.
Yeah.
But it was the feeling of it. I loved. And I also don't like a lot of violence in movies because I always look away whenever I know there's going to be a gunshot. And so I think probably early on I was like, well, I looked away anytime I felt that the tensity of violence about to happen. But what sticks with me with The Godfather and with the lessons I learned from The Godfather, I think it has to be with how do you basically the story of an individual and how they are affected by their community and the choices they make around it. And then just seeing Michael become the Don at the end of the movie and just like that painful feeling at the end, you feel like, but you're also like, I'm curious to know where else it's going to go. I think, I think that's what inspired me. I guess the stories I want to tell is also that like it doesn't have to have a happy ending, but you just have to understand why it ended that way.
I do like the ending of The Godfather where he's just sitting there and his wife is looking at him and everybody's bringing him gift or something. Are they like giving him praises?
Which is it the second one or the third?
I forgot.
The first one is like it ends on the wife character Diane Keaton. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
She like the door closes on her face. I remember that's like
the door
the ending.
was on her face and everybody was bringing him like tribute and they're congratulating him on being the new Godfather.
Oh yes.
And
Part
it
one.
wasn't like a happy mood.
Yeah.
Like it's a very somber mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like movies that doesn't have happy ending.
I think I've noted. Yeah. So I was just having that conversation with my co-writer on the feature film Elephant.
Mm-hmm. None of your film have happy ending.
I know. And then so we're trying to send it to producers or production companies, and he said like, yeah, this ends in a bitter way. And I was like, yeah, but it's real.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's American, so I was like, oh right, Americans do like things happy endings, but I'm like, it doesn't make sense for this movie to have that American touch.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find ways to make sure that, I don't know, if we found an American production company, they understand and take that risk with us, but I'm just not going to change the ending so I can make sure I can sell it.
Yeah. So what would be your dream director to work with?
Oh, what do you mean? I'm the director.
You are, but you want to collab with a director.
Co-director. Yorgos Lanthimos. I once worked with him. He's the director of the most recent film movie, Poor Things.
Okay.
He just directed that.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, he also has another movie coming out like this summer.
When did you work with him?
No.
Oh, you would love to work with him.
Oh, yeah. Is that the question?
No, I thought you just said you work with him.
Wait, wasn't the question what kind of director you would like to work with?
Yeah. I just misinterpreted. I thought you said you work with him. I'm like, wow, he became big, Poor Things, and he didn't reach back to you.
It was a traumatic experience.
He must have had a bad experience.
Talk about it.
I'm in the deleted scenes. I swear.
But so he did Poor Things.
Yes.
What else? I never heard of him, but
really?
I've seen the trailer.
You would definitely like his movies because if you like Elephant, because Elephant is kind of informed by one of his movies called The Lobster.
The Lobster.
And The Killing of Sacred Deer. Like,
okay, I heard
there's
about that.
There's a lot of long takes and just awkward pauses.
Yeah.
And well, he has more stilted dialogue, but with Elephant, there is elevated languages. Is that the one to say? Like it's not grounded. It's not grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to work with him because I see that he collaborates with other people. Now he doesn't write all his movies, so he has other people to write it, and they still understand his tone and style really well. And I don't think I could write for him, but I would love to just collaborate, I guess co-direct with him on something.
So that's your favorite?
Right now, he's my favorite because I think what I'm so impressed with him is he is not a traditional type of storyteller, and I will love to hear how he was able to convince people to give him money. Because I mean, right now, as somebody who feels like they're not traditional in their story approach, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are just like, I just don't get it. And I was like, well, what don't you get? What don't you get about it? And then, and a lot of things they pointed out is, well, normally stories are like this and like that and like that. And you're just, I'm not getting the point of your story, but I'm like, okay, well, I get it. So you need to find people who get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we cancel this phone call for my dad.
Podcast is life, Dad.
Yeah.
No, it does happen though. You're right. I started doing that years ago, being around the environment I want to be around. And it's like you first start like getting rid of like just negative things, and then you start realizing you're like, I just like talking to this person because we talk about things that are relevant to things that we're interested. I don't want to talk about anything else but this. So then you start focusing more, start finding more people in that realm. I use that as motivation, and I use it more like to help me kind of be like, it's okay, we're all together.
Yeah.
You remember back then, we kind of praised A24.
Yeah.
Like, they were kind of big, but
they're still big.
yeah, but they're way more bigger now than back then. Back then they have a few movies, but we both enjoy them. And I remember I wanted like, I want my stand-up special to be shot by A24, and you were like, let me direct it. Yeah. The funny thing is, so 2023.
Last year.
Was it the year before last year? I shot a stand-up special at my house.
Oh.
Was it 2023?
Yeah, no, it's last year. Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna get you to direct it, but I was gonna do another thing, but I was so broke that I paid the camera guy $150 for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday, and I did 2 shows each night. And I was like, thank God they'll do it for that price. And I edited it, kind of corrected, do the sound myself, and it's very amateur. But
you just gotta start somewhere.
It got decent view on YouTube. Yeah. But I was gonna have you directed it and help me and stuff. But I was so broke, so I didn't reach out.
Next one.
Yeah.
Or the next one. It is somewhere along the way.
Yeah, we'll see. But I just remember like I was broke, but I wanted to put out a stand-up special.
You did it.
Yeah. Okay, the final question, okay? Who would be the dream actor and actresses for your film if you get the choice of anybody to work with?
Right now, I would like to work with Issa Rae, and she is in The Bear. She plays Sydney in The Bear. Do you watch that show?
No.
Wow, it's like the biggest show.
I know it is big, yeah.
Yeah, I want to work with her. Kind of feel like we could, I don't know, our cadence are so similar that we can come up with some crazy story, and then I know she will nail it. And
some people just got that it factor.
Yeah, she has, to me. Like immediately I saw her on screen, I'm like, oh, she's gonna be pop, and then I was right, she popped.
I think also now, prior to years ago, I think now the opportunity is here for like, I think if you want to work with somebody like that, doing a podcast and we're doing some work, it's so much easier nowadays. At least you get that far. Regardless, you know if they get it or not, but at least you have like a shot. You got destination. Back then it was just like,
how?
Look at you been into each other. Nice to meet you. Okay. And it's like, at least you can give somebody. But that'd be great. I would like to see that, like just help you like network or see if you can see where you can help you grow. Because filmmakers, as much as there's not really that many either, but a lot of people can make stuff, but to actually make a movie to tell your story, it's hard. It's really hard to be that collective, or have that collectiveness where other people have the same themes, or slightly off a little bit, but they understand. Like it's hard, and also just for the times too, because if you grow up watching like a bunch of the '90s movies. And then you try to make a 90s movie now, it might not work.
It doesn't work. I want to make a 90s rom-com. And what I mean, like the Nora Ephron type movies, like Sleepless in Seattle or Harry Met Sally. Or I want to make a they call it slapstick. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's like one of those... the movies from the rom-com movies from the 40s and 50s.
40s and 50s?
Yeah. They're called what is that phrase?
I don't know.
No, not that one either. It's has wow, I am blanking on her name. Something baby.
Not like Charlie Chaplin, right?
It's driving, giving up baby or something.
Driving Miss Daisy?
No. Wait, no, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up.
1940s. Did they even have sound back then?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
movie.
they did.
Something.
We could make a 1940s.
Bring It Up, Baby. Okay, so Bring It Up, Baby. What do they call that type of comedy? I can't believe I'm blanking out. But that is one thing. I wish I was in a time where that's something I can make. Off ball? Nope, not even off ball. It's like
off the cuff.
Screwball comedy. So what? Isn't that what we said originally?
Okay, I heard of it.
Okay,
but
screwball comedy, and so a lot of things about screwball comedy is like, and it's also Nora Ephron's romance comedy is that it's all about dialogue, witty dialogue, and I don't think modern romance do that.
Yeah.
They're all about like bringing the hottest people and then having them try to fall in love.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It's okay. That works, but it doesn't like have longevity to me because I don't want to revisit that.
Yeah.
I want to revisit like just the conversations these two potential people are going to have. I don't know.
You made me thought of Sunset, the Richard Linklater series.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's good too. Yeah.
I never saw the last one because the two I seen were like perfect in my eyes.
Yeah.
And I read review about the last one, how they broke up and stuff. So I don't want that memory in my head.
I did see a little bit, but I definitely remembered the divorce. So I was like, I'm not interested.
Hey, I recently saw, talk about 90s rom-com. I saw It Could Happen to You, Nicolas Cage, Rosie Perez.
I think I saw that.
That like I was like, because I'm like, well, I'm an adult now. I saw this when I was a kid. We watched it as an adult, and as I saw it, you're right. The dialogue is what really makes a 90s rom-com really like just that's like not that stuff. Well, slapstick humor, but screwball humor as well. Just very in the moment, but yet there's not a lot going on outside of the conversation.
It's a great challenge to have as a director to make a film where it's mostly dialogue and it's still very entertaining.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't have to be mostly dialogue. So I think the Sunset series are dialogue heavy. Yeah. But I think what I'm saying is just smart dialogue in romance, because I feel like sometimes the jokes is something like, oh, she fell into a bush and now she has prickly shit on her butt. Like, isn't that funny? I'm like, no, but like, I don't know, setups should be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, American Pie, I think those are still pretty, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think it switched
raunchy comedy.
Raunchy, so it switched from the 90s lovey to the raunchy 2000s.
Oh.
And you're right, there's really nothing nowadays that we have that we remember. I mean, you got 50 Shades of Grey, I haven't seen it. But is that even like a comedy? It's like a seductive.
Yeah. I finally watched it this year. It's 50 Shades of Grey.
I've never seen it. It does not interest me at all. Like, I feel like life is it's kind of short, so you're gonna have to be selective with the movies you watch and shows. Because there's so many.
So many options.
Yeah.
You're right, dude. If you I'll rewatch something before I watch that again. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I don't want to call it a chick flick, but I think it's just something like along that term where I'm like, I'll just leave that somewhere else. But I mean, I think movies in general nowadays where we're at with communication visually. We keep bringing up Richard Linklater. I like his first movie, Slacker. And now I saw it the other day, and it was just kind of like, none of this stuff is even here anymore. So it's such a time capsule movie. Yeah. At the same time, I was writing a movie called Maestro, which is, but they're making a movie or made a movie called Maestro, but it's basically called what I was taught was cinema verte. You know what cinema verte is? So cinema verte is when you kind of just slice the life. Yeah. You know, it could have a beginning, it could have a middle, it could have an end, or it could just be a random conversation, or it could be a scene. Yeah. And Alan Danziger, he's 83 now, he's one of my friends. He was in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wow. And he was in Toby Cooper's first movie, Eggshells. And it was shot here in Austin. And it has that feel. So I've always wanted to redo that. And you talk about what movies you wanted. I'm like, I've always wanted to work on that. I was working on that last year. But now it's something I want to rekindle because I want to shoot it like raw, just in the moment. Not a big production, not a big everything, just performers and then scene and we move on kind of thing. But yeah, I watching that movie now, it just, I mean, you look up, I used to look up downtown and see where the Frost building was at, and I know where I was at. Yeah. Now I look up and I'm like,
you don't see it.
I don't see nothing. But so I'm like, well, let's make a new map. Let's do something new. Yeah. Let's modernize life, I guess. I don't know, a lot of like the old mindset still lingering for a lot of projects nowadays, and it's like, well, we can move into this other direction and see where to go. So, want to try to do things.
Gotcha. Okay. Going wrap up this podcast interview. So y'all go support Chinwe Okorie on her latest film cycle. She's gonna start funding for that soon, and we'll have the link in the description for y'all to give her some money to make this project. It's done. He's gotta submit it to festival, right?
It's not done yet. Tonight I should have
tonight. Yeah,
tonight I should have the first drafts done.
So you're gonna pull an all-nighter?
I'm really close. Like I don't think I need to do an all-nighter.
Yeah.
I'm really close.
Oh, you're editing it yourself,
yes.
huh? What software do you use?
I use Premiere.
Premiere?
Yeah.
Is the editing got to the point where your whole computer slowed down, stuff like that? Or no?
No, I don't really use my computer for anything else really.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I kind of got lucky where it's like I have an iPad, so I use my iPad a lot for like everything else, and my computer is actually just an editing computer.
Nice, because my computer is very slow.
I know, because if you're using it for other things, is this your computer you edit? Because you should not be editing.
It's not mine.
No,
This
I
is.
edit on it.
Yeah,
You do?
mine is just old.
I don't use anything else on it, but I do. This has a lot of power in it.
Is this a MacBook or Pro?
That's a Pro.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of storage on this. Well, that's one thing with me. My iPhone, I don't want to have problems with storage.
Yeah.
RAM, I just go ham.
Yeah.
So I just wait till the last one I have breaks and just jump into the new one, save for it.
Yeah.
But no, I do this thing. I clean it up. Maintenance. People don't realize computer maintenance is a big thing. Files or whatever. So I do keep up with it, but it's a lot. It's a lot for editing. But yeah, no, this is high end. This is high powered. This is. I made sure I pulled out the stops for that one.
Yeah,
this wasn't sponsored by Mac.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't need the money.
Yeah, they don't need the money.
Unless they sponsor us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
The sponsor, you make film and then you edit it on their laptop.
Yeah, but you know what? I should cover that little until they start paying those.
Yeah, Apple should get into the film business. Why haven't they? They're in the music business.
They are in the film business.
Pixar.
They are? Oh, they do. They have their own network.
Not Pixar.
They have their own network.
They have
Apple TV.
Yeah, but it's not that popular.
No, they have a streaming company called Apple.
Yeah.
And they actually do fund movies. But I don't know if they're now just funding any kind of movies, but they were able to fund whatever because they didn't care about a loss. But I think that's changing now.
Yeah.
I think they really do care how much money.
They took a lot of loss. Because they have a bunch of shows that nobody even heard of.
Apple Plus, sorry. Yeah, Apple Plus is their streaming company. And I feel like they don't market anything that's on that platform.
Yeah, it's hard for them though because Prime does the same thing. I think you're right. I think they're also trying to cut it down a little bit because
they really should.
We're all enemies to them in a sense. You have a YouTube channel, you have a Vimeo channel. You can start taking because all they need is you for your time. They just stream.
I don't mind being on Apple Plus.
You
could have your.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still raw, so we're very ground up. So whoever wants to sponsor us,
we should let the viewer know where can they find you, Chinwe, online.
Yeah, you can find me on all socials. Chinwe Films. That's my first name, and films plural. Don't follow me on Twitter because I don't really use it. I use it, but I don't make content on Twitter. Yeah. So I just want my privacy on Twitter.
I hear you.
You can find me on Instagram, Chinwe Films. And I will eventually have a website later this year. I was holding off. I was like, I have social media. I don't need a website. But I do need to house my films somewhere besides Vimeo. I mean, it's on Vimeo, but it's easier to say, hey, go to chinweokorie.com. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Do you have a Linktree?
I do. Yeah. So if you go to my link in my bio, you'll be able to if you go to the link in my bio on my Instagram, Chinwe Films, you will have access to Love Bites, Elephants, Richard Corey, the first music video.
Nice.
They're all on Vimeo through the Linktree app. Sorry, Linktree link.
Definitely go and check out Richard Corey. That piqued my interest.
Yeah, I want to see the ending.
I want to see this kid, how he
looked when he was young.
Yeah.
And now look
he's
him
big.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. I like I know this that's what I read. I don't know his name. He's Vietnamese. Eric Pham or Eric Tran or something. But he directed a film called Slender Man.
Okay.
He made
made that.
No, not that one. But he made an independent film kind of like Slenderman.
Oh, Slenderman.
Yeah, that character.
Yeah.
And a famous movie studio, they came out with their own Slenderman.
Yes,
So they try to hit him with a cease and desist.
Oh.
So he fought them and he won. Because, they're trying to bully him and stuff. But he's in the film industry too.
So he got money. Did he use that money to make a movie?
I have no idea, but he got started making special effect for Spy Kids. Like he does a lot of special effect for major films, and he also direct his own stuff like on the side and stuff. So Slenderman was like his first horror full-length feature film, and the main actress there, she became one of the main actresses in the Flash, the series on Netflix.
Nice.
Yeah, so she got big, and several other people in that film became big in other shows and stuff. So it's kind of crazy how like seeing people get their start in indie film, because he shot that one in Austin, Texas with no AC because the place they were shooting at. So it was like hell to shoot that movie because they have prison scenes and stuff with no AC. So imagine being in a prison with no AC because they shot a lot of it in a prison. Yeah.
Dude, I wish I would take advantage of the pandemic. There was a guy that made a short movie during the pandemic in Austin, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's so isolated, and he's got all the good shots. It's right in the pandemic, right where we couldn't go out and stuff. He's got long shots. It's so like I was like, man. Like because I saw this like 2 years later, and I realized I was like, dude, this guy really like was just out here by himself with the drone, and he was just recording himself. But there's a will, there's a way. I think nowadays
that's a nice message for this podcast. Where there's a will, there's a way, and take risks.